Thank you, Chris, for doing that. Anyways,
Topic, appreciation. What a lovely
yeah.
way to start this.
Well, I want to appreciate the technology that you have helped set up for me tonight. So that's where this is where I want to start, to be honest. I mean, I can go into the whole, oh, woe is me, my life, and how could I appreciate it thing. But I
Yeah.
actually want to start with some appreciation of you
Oh,
and what we've started to create or are creating or whatever, right? Because um I think it's important that we show appreciation. And I think there's a lot of value and energy in that act. So I wanted to start with saying that how much I appreciate your wisdom, your generosity, the ease with which we are able to communicate with one another. And I really enjoy the time that we spend together and how playful you are in doing this with me. And this particular bi-weekly affair that we have, maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but
I know I commonly refer to you as my online hubby,
okay, you're
even
Canadian.
to my husband, because
Oh,
that seems amusing to me.
that's fantastic. But this 1 hour, not even hour, this half an hour block that we set aside every 2 weeks helps ground me, helps me feel more connected. Um, and it helps me feel like I'm still attached to my purpose, which I feel like I've been a little bit disconnected from, but I'm still engaged in it to a degree. So this bi-weekly event is something that I really hold quite close to me. So thank you for that. I wanted to share start with some appreciation.
It is my absolute pleasure to be part of this, and you know that my sentiments are absolutely reflected back to you. I you even on a personal side help me with this, make sure that I don't do anything that drains my energy. And this is certainly something that has been easy as to do for nearly 2 years. And to do something like that fortnightly, pretty much. I mean, we've had a couple of life things happen where it hasn't quite been fortnightly, but pretty much it has been. I very much appreciate that you're still willing to have a chat. There's new content to have a chat with. So yeah, totally reflected.
Cool. I wasn't doing this so that I would get like in French they call it like receiving the le flattage, like the stroking or whatever. I wasn't for that. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is something that I thought about a few weeks back and I wanted to do, but wasn't sure how it would manifest. But of course, when you sent your bi-weekly text to me saying, hey, what's the topic? I froze. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, it was. There
I
was
needed
a
a whole
delay.
day. I didn't answer. I didn't answer on purpose. And I waited for my day that I drive alone to the office so that I could like zone out. And I went to this place where, and I think that people will relate to this, it's easy to appreciate things when things are going well. When you can see the thing coming in the door or the money in the bank account or the relationship in the bed or whatever, like it's easy to appreciate the things that you can see and touch and feel and whatever that feel good.
Yep.
But when we get to more challenging areas of our life,
Yep.
it's sometimes harder to find that appreciation, harder to see the good in what's there. And so on that drive, I kind of caught myself a little bit in the, oh, man, like I got to go to this job thing and I got to, like, this isn't really where I want to be. And I don't see like an end yet. And I'm not sure what's going on with my business and what I want to do with that. And I kind of got into that kind of a little bit of a downward spiral on it. And on the drive, I caught myself and I said, wait a second, like there is good here. And I know you've experienced times in the past that haven't felt good, that actually have become really great things, even though they felt kind of crummy in the moment. So I started trying to basically just pick apart any little thing I could appreciate about the space that I'm currently sitting in. Like I'm finally, for once in many years, not stressed to the hilt about money. Like, I feel some ease.
That's a gift. What a gift
Right.
that is.
Right. So this period of time is calming for that reason. Even though I'm not doing what I want to do yet, I have more space and time to figure it out. There's no super big rush for me to accomplish something. And I started thinking about, okay, all the things that I don't like about my current work. And I'm like, well, okay, well, if I know what I don't want, I know what I do want. I want more connection. I want to start, getting back out there and helping people the way I was, or in a different way. I want to engage community, because those things don't feel like that's what I'm doing at the job for now.
Right.
So it's just highlighting to me, and I felt way better after just going through an exercise that probably took me about 5 to 10 minutes to do on that stretch of highway that is like scenic and quiet and slow, where I can just zone out and think about things. So just that switch and that reframe from woe is me to appreciation was super helpful in giving me inspiration for today's conversation, setting me up better for my day amongst my colleagues, and just moving up my emotional spiral as opposed to down it, right?
Yeah. And when you so I did deliberately ask you what topic, because I didn't have a topic in mind this week. And ironically, as soon as you said appreciation, I was like, wow, I know where this is showing up for me. So I hurt my back. As I've shared, we're doing some renovations. We did a lot of painting last week. I'm not even going to tell you how many hours. It was a stupid amount of hours. It was great. Got lots of painting done. Downside is that my back, there's a muscle somewhere between my shoulder blade and my spine, does not love me at the moment. It's yelling a lot. And so I was appreciative at the beginning of this week that my calendar felt a little bit light. Like I didn't have a lot on, and literally Monday morning, 6 o'clock, I wake up and this muscle is spasming. And I'm like almost to that point where you can't breathe type spasming. And I'm like, oh no, I've got to get through my week. What the? And so I went through all the motions, but I was still in pain. I'm still actually got some heat packs on at the minute because I'm still in pain 5 days later. It's that level of pain. So I went through the motions of being in pain, taking tablets, doing all the rest of it, went and got a massage. That was great. And then the following morning, I don't know, sometimes when I get a massage, I get really achy for the next 24 hours.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like almost feels like a whole body ache. And I know it's a good ache, but it's like I was over it by the following morning, because now I'm like into day 3 of being in pain. But I was sitting doing my meditation, and randomly the one that came up to remind me about this was, we can be in discomfort, but we have a choice to suffer with it. And I felt like that was a really kind of nice link to the appreciation, because really, if I looked at it, sure, like you said, it's really easy to appreciate a lighter week, something that feels like it's going to be good. But what I didn't yet appreciate was the fact that I had to pay attention to my body so that I could make different choices moving forward when I'm painting. I hadn't got to that bit quite yet, because I was so busy concentrating on the discomfort, the pain, we all know what that pain's like. It messes with your head. I couldn't get past it. And to be able to go through this little meditation, which literally took 10 minutes, it wasn't like a big thing, but it was like, okay, the discomfort is there, yes, but I can choose if I'm going to suffer or not. And what could I do beyond that? I could appreciate the lesson that this muscle was giving me.
Yeah.
And what can I then take from that, learn from it, and do it differently? So I've had a big lesson in appreciation this week.
Yeah. So I think that's the big switch or the flip for most people who will listen to this. It's finding that something, that learning, that lesson that is in the pain or the discomfort or the not knowing or whatever it is for you or for them, so that you can see things differently, so that you can adjust for future activity or whatever the case may be.
And it takes a bit to move that mental thinking. I mean, it took me 3 days to move away from I'm in pain. And that pain can be anything. Like you said, it could be physical, but it could be emotional pain.
Sure.
Or it could be mental pain, just doing your head in. And to move away from that, curious to know what your little exercise was in the on the highway trip that you said to move you into more appreciation.
I think, I did kind of set the intention that I felt like I needed that drive to have the space to figure out what topic I would present, what I would offer.
Mhm.
But I noticed myself in a bit of a negative spiral with what I'm kind of frustrated with and what's not working for me or perceived not to be working for me. But I've learned this lesson. I think often it's like a ping pong game. Like the ball comes back, right? Like you hit it, your partner puts it back. I keep and playing this emotional ping pong game with myself to learn this lesson. And appreciation seems to be the best way that I know how to reframe a situation, to see the good in it, to see the positive in it, to see, and I mean,
or the benefit. It's not always the good. I think it's the benefit of it, because I think it's okay to go, it's not always good, but there's a benefit regardless.
True, but like I say, when I'm coaching somebody, I'm often trying to find alternate ways of seeing their situation so that they can see it in a light that supports them in a new way, as opposed to just them being sucked into the spiral of negativity. So you see it as, I don't know, I hate hypotheticals, but like they see something as the worst thing in the world. It could be like a relationship falling apart, or whatever. And I'm thinking, this is so good for you.
Well, this is what my husband said to me. I was going, oh, my back is so painful. What am I going to be able to achieve today? And he went, finally, you get to take some time out for yourself.
I would say something like that less sarcastically in a coaching session. However, I do appreciate the husband and wife part of it, that there's a little bit more of a hook to it, right? Yeah, you can get away with it a bit more. Yeah. So it's there's a point where I will catch myself, or I have the opportunity to catch myself and say, wait, there is something to gain from this. There is a possibility of me seeing this in a different light. What are those? Let's start with the smallest possible thing. Yes, I'm not stressed about money. Yes, I have, and not making up stuff that your mind can't get to, like, oh, this is going to lead me to $1 million something, or like you have to believe the thing that you're saying. So yes, I have more time and space. That's a truth that I can grab onto that feels better than where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I've always figured these things out in the past. Okay, there's another way that I can see it and I can grab onto it. What I'm struggling with today potentially could help me in helping somebody else tomorrow or the next day. So there's always something that I can look at it from a different vantage point that will serve me and help me in moving up my kind of energy spectrum, as opposed to staying low and dejected and frustrated and sad or whatever.
So what I can hear in both your story and mine of that, the meditation, what that did is we created a pause. We created a pause from the discomfort. Mine
True.
happened to be a 10-minute meditation where I had to pause from being wrapped up in the pain and let someone else guide me through a meditation, just to let me, breathe a little bit deeper, get some oxygen going. It allowed me to pause. And then that little bit of a window can open, that little bit of light can come in to go, oh, this could be lighter. So I think the pause is the key.
It's huge. With if you do not stop, if you don't, you have to slow down the train in order to go the other direction. So you've got to pause things. It's just harder when, I guess, I think it's easier for me in a state where I was, because I was in a place of kind of calm and pause and slowness, like on the drive, literally.
On the drive, you were literally, yes,
And I was
set your environment up.
And I was trying to slow my mind down. When something is like really emotionally triggering and whatever, where you're just going too fast, it's almost like there's no opportunity for it. You really have to consciously take a step back, slow down, breathe in order to.
And I think that's where it gets a bit tricky, because it's not always when you're so wrapped up in discomfort or drama or whatever it is that's like hooked you in, to step back from it can feel like that's impossible, because you're defining everything around that particular discomfort and drama. Yeah. And what I find happens is that we get an opportunity given to us to stop. Somebody else will call and have a problem that's greater than ours, or your back gets sore and you have to pay attention to the physicality rather than the emotions. Like it's like you get an interruptive point. You don't always have to mentally create it.
Right.
We just have to be on the lookout for it.
Right. Yeah. You have to be open to the possibility that you could be looking at things differently.
Yeah. And then the pause can then be consciously created from there. As long as we're looking for the opportunity, when can I get a break from this? And use anything, someone calling you, having a laugh at a reel from social media, like anything that gives you that slight ability to pause and break the cycle.
I completely agree with that. I was thinking of like a sitcom or something that lightens the air a little bit, giving you the opportunity to stop, slow down, just take a break from that whatever mental or emotional pain that you've got going on, to make that shift, to make that shift.
And then utilizing that pause to make the shift.
Yeah. And I think the next level of that is actually being grateful for what happened. Like actually being grateful for the best example I can give of this is like I was married and divorced very, very quickly and young. And if it wasn't for that relationship ending so quickly and hard for me, I would not have got into the relationship that I'm in today. So being grateful for feeling horrible and for being treated the way that I was treated shaped my entire future, career, trajectory, relationships, the way that I, learn and grow personally. It's a lot of that is due to that relationship ending.
But the difference that I see is that you being grateful makes the growth positive and enhances you, where when we still stay in the drama of the breakup, it wouldn't enhance, but it would still shape the rest of your future.
Correct. And I see a lot of people that will grab onto those stories that felt so bad, and they share that story as if it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. Like, it's like they carried that with them through their life and never let it go. It's like
And it continues to define them.
They stayed in that spiral for perpetuity. So it just goes to show that you can look back and you can reframe probably anything in your past that you felt wasn't great in the moment, but what did you learn from it? As long as you learn something from it, you've grown as a person, you've been able to teach other people about it, you've been able to use it in a way that many people haven't figured out how to do.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting, whenever we have these conversations, we seem to come down to these really simple things that I think everybody knows to do. We just forget to do them. We get so caught up, whether it's in the story of the past or the pain of the current.
Yeah.
That we forget that it's just a simplicity of pausing and going, okay, what would I really like it to be like? And instead of getting sucked into the negative, actually create something of benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And we move on really quickly. Because there's an acknowledgement then of something, and we don't always know. I think the other thing that I see people can get caught up with is not understanding the why it happened. But I don't know that we always need to know the why. We just need to make it of use. Or if it no longer serves, then just no longer. It's no longer a thing.
But then isn't that the why?
Well, possibly, but they look for the why. Well, why did that happen to me then? And the injustice appears. And that's all part of the story. But yeah.
That might be part of the next conversation. I don't know.
It might be.
But I don't get the sense that you drag stuff with, like, not big stuff. I think you're pretty clean, right? And you drag little stuff to learn from.
I do, but I think that it's worthy of acknowledging that one of the big things that I still can't say I've completely let go of is my dysfunctional childhood, and why I had to go through so much that seemed to define me for many years. Now, yes, I've chosen different definitions now, but I still haven't quite fully comprehended all of the reasons why that seemed to happen to me, and why now I get that it's partly why I get to do what I do now, but also I still struggle when it comes to, why did I get that mother and that father? And like, why is that? Why did that happen? The amount of trauma that occurred because of that, like, really, what? And so I, probably about 15 years ago, I deliberately started to find any kind of positive memories that I had. And I have very few memories of my childhood, but anything that is remotely positive, I grab hold of it and talk about those memories of my childhood, or particularly about my mother, who, I can tell you, I was not particularly devastated when she passed away last year, and that might sound harsh, but it's the truth of it. Finding when I see something in myself that goes, oh, that's a bit of my mother coming through, I actually acknowledge that there was some things she did that were good. But that's still a struggle for me. That's not an easy thing for me to do. And I think that I think I'm not the only one that can struggle when it's highly traumatic.
I'm sure it's not. But I like the fact that although it's slightly different, it's almost like instead of finding things to appreciate, you're finding What are the nice nuggets that I can hold on to that I found some sort of positivity or joy in.
Yes, and make that more part of my story than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Again, it's the ability to pause and find the good, find the benefit, let the lighter sides shine in so that we can lift the heaviness. Yep.
Well said. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Ian. Great chat about appreciation. I'm glad we finally got onto
Zoom.
Facebook Live. Thanks, Zoom and Facebook, for cooperating.